started, get a little business out of the way here. First of all, we nicknamed the student section the Ruckus.
The Ruckus.
And at 5:30, the game Thursday night, I was told to announce this. The gates, normal gates open at 6, but we're going to open at 5:30. The student gates only, because they're giving out the first 6,000 shirts, because this is an all-black night. Wear your black. And so only students can come through and get their shirts, because it's going to take a while to size them up. They're just not going to hand them out like True Musketeers. But it's going to take a while. So 5:30 we'll start with that. We'll need everybody there early, and I think Kaz has got this up here because we're wearing the Ruckus on the back of our helmet.
Right on the back bumper, we'll have the Ruckus logo.
Don't say too many words. Like Dean Martin's old movie show. You remember Dean? His piano player, if he ever said a word, he got $500 a word. So don't talk a whole lot, will you?
Can I get $500 a word?
Most of the folks in here are too young to remember the Dean Martin show, except for Doc and a few others in here.
A couple more back there.
All right, let's get going. Get on to a more serious note here. A little bit about last week's game, and there was good things, but there's never anything good about losing, and we don't accept that. And I told that to our players in here. We played with more emotion. We made some plays. It was good. We broke a few records. Records don't mean anything about winning, and I wanted to really stress that with our football team, because there's some guys that felt good about themselves, and they probably should have. But the bottom line, if you lose a game, you lose a game. It goes in the lost column, and there's a lot of reasons here and there. Kind of like one of my top movies of all time, The Fugitive, when Harrison Ford running in that tunnel, getting ready to jump off that waterfall or that dam, and he's serious, as we are in football. We're serious, and he turned around and looked at Tommy Lee Jones, who's got a gun. And he says, "I didn't kill my wife." He said, "I don't care if you did or not. I don't care, and I don't care. I don't care what happened in that game. You got to win the game. We got to find a way to win. I don't care what we've got, injuries and all that kind of stuff." But there were some good performances, but we're not near the team that we could be coaching-wise or playing-wise. So that being said, we got to get it done, and it gets much tougher as we go, and there's no excuse. Let's just get it done. That's been the motto, and it's going to continue to be the motto. So we do have some injuries, and I'm sure everybody wants to hear about the Gunners, and just unfortunate for him. I told some reporters yesterday that last week he went through the same situation. He felt good during the week. Doctors cleared him, and I let him make that decision along with the doctors. But with the second one, I get a vote, and my vote's going to go a long way. He will be looked at again today. Has not been cleared by the doctors. Has not practiced. Hayden will start the game. To this point, I don't know what this afternoon is going to entail, whether they're going to clear him or not. The doctors have not been here to look at him, but we're going on as business as usual, as we do every other position when somebody gets hurt. And so I thought Hayden played decent. He made some throws. He didn't play the best he could play. I was proud of him in that situation of coming in, because it was fairly tough again. 2 weeks in a row he's done that. But Gunner gives us the best chance to win, bottom line, because he has experience. He's got a good arm and normally makes good decisions. But we continue going to look back at last week. Everybody goes, "What happened?" Mistakes. We beat ourselves. We should have lost the Miami Ohio game with all the mistakes that we made. And so we are dead last in turning the ball over. Out of how many schools, guys?
127.
127. I mean, that's embarrassing. Turning the ball over, and some for touchdowns like we did last week. You can't overcome that. And if they had a category for missing tackles, we'd be dead last in that too. I mean, we absolutely missed tackle after tackle, and for big plays. I mean, you can count on several of them that we've missed tackles and the ball's gone the distance. And it's hard to practice any harder than what we've been practicing. We practiced harder this week. And I hell of a more accountable for everything that they're doing. And again, it's not played. We've got to get them lined up right. We got to maybe get calls in faster. But again, when that ball snapped, you know, the mistakes have been just horrendous. And I'll take the blame for that because I'm the head coach. And we got to get them lined up better. We got to tackle better. We got to make better decisions. But our players have to understand, and they do understand now, that you can't win ball games at any level with the mistakes that we're making. Because we got a chance to have a pretty good team. Maybe they're not the team that part of everybody thought that we might have, because there's some areas that we might not be as strong. But we do have as good or better team than we had last year at this point. But that might make any difference. Nobody cares what you did last year. I don't care. I don't think anybody else knows this is what you do at this point in time. Now we're getting ready to play another good team that's had a week off. They beat us pretty good last year. I thought at times we played fairly well in that game, but again, it's a different speed. This is a team that lives. I know for a fact they live off of quickness and speed. You know, they do things very fast. You know, there might be some teams that we might play comparable. It's not that, you know, they're superhuman or anything, but that's just their forte down there because they get a lot of guys that can run and won many games over the years and national championships doing that. But it'll be a great test for us. I'm looking forward to it. Somebody said, don't you think it'd be good to have somebody? No. You know, that's the decision that we made going into this when I got here, along with Whit Babcock and now Mike Bone. We want to bring good teams here and play them. We want to test where we're at. We want to give ourselves an opportunity to play on national television. That's how you win recruiting battles. So this is the second national televised game in a row. Next week we'll have another one, and players will see us. So that's one selling point. Now we need to obviously continue to get better and play well. But you know, we've got UCLA coming in a few years. We're working on other teams. We want good programs, traditional programs that come to this campus. I do not want to play somebody this week that we know we're going to win. That is not going to help us at all. You know, it probably would help in some areas in terms of injuries, but hey, everybody's got injuries. So we got a tough one this week, and we got another one next week. We're going to go on the road and play the same team next week that we'll play will come here next year. And that's the reason we're looking for home and homes. You know, we're not selling ourselves out. We got a new stadium. We're not selling ourselves out for going on the road and playing one game. We'll play anybody at home and home. And I think that's how we're going to continue to get this program better and take that next step. So I'm excited about this game. I'm looking forward to it. I think our guys have worked hard. We've busted them hard. You got to get that taste out of your mouth, and you got to get back positive. A lot of these guys are playing who 3 weeks ago didn't think they'd be playing. They thought they'd be, you know, drinking a milkshake, eating popcorn on the sideline, you know, enjoying watching. Hey, that in this business, it happens very quickly. And so we've got a lot of guys. Last week we had 4 new starters on defense. And I decided last week we've got some guys that's better, more speed and quickness. Let's get them out there and play. They'll be better as we go through the season, and it'll make us a better football team. So that being said, we're looking forward to it. Hopefully, you know, fans will come out. I'm disappointed. That everybody that's on this football is disappointed in anybody that we're 2-2. But, you know, it is what it is. We're not looking back. We're saying we got 8 more to go, and we're going to play our butt off. We're going to get better every game. Question? I got a parking pass. All of it.
How does a kid, Tommy, who has never started a game, come in cold on the road against the league's best team and throw for 557 yards?
I'm still amazed. You know, I did not know that. I don't keep up with that, obviously. I knew the kid had a pretty good night. We go in and I said, you know, we broke how many school records? 9 school records, and 8 more throws. Still don't know. I don't look at stats. He threw for
557.
I mean, and last year we couldn't make a first down on that same team after we hit them for a long play on the first drive. We could not get back to the line of scrimmage. And they're good. I mean, they're hard to play against Memphis is because they line up something different every snap. And it's not a perfect scenario for a young quarterback to come in, Hayden's age, that's never hardly ever played, and make those kind of plays. I mean, because he's not seeing the same look. It's not a team that just plays with talent. I mean, mean, they're all over the place. And so, I can't give you an answer on that. I mean, that's, in 3 quarters he did that. So, I was proud for what he, I talked to him on the sideline, and when I went over to him after the second drive, and he's looking at me and smiling and grinning, I'm thinking, this kid lost his mind. I mean, 'cause he just saw his buddy get knocked out, and he has fun. And there's one thing I can say about Hayden, he'll compete, but he enjoys every time he takes a snap. I mean, he's not one of those that worried about making mistakes, which, he made some mistakes, he made some bad decisions, but he made some real good ones, and he threw the heck out of the football. So let's don't crown him the next Johnny Unitas yet. I mean, he has got a lot of room for improvement, and he's got to show it week in and week out. Right now, he's our quarterback. Gunner will not lose his position because of injury. I'll tell you that. Gunner is the best quarterback we have right now. When he comes back, he will be the quarterback, in practice that week that will be our number. Now, if he goes out there and the ball's not going as good, obviously we'll go with the best guy in practice. But we're not crowning Hayden king just because he did that in one game. Because you remember the week before, he turned it over 4 times in a 15-play period. And we're not discounting that. I got all the confidence in the world. He's getting ready to see a different deal this week from a different type of team. Each week he'll do that. Next week against BYU, he'll see, if he's a starting quarterback, we'll see different fronts, coverages. He'll have to make decisions within a 2-second time period. Last week he made mostly good decisions. We struggled in the red zone. A lot of that was because of our quarterback. We didn't change the play at the right time. And so, I'd have liked to have a couple hundred yards less in passing and 100 more yards rushing in the red zone, and that ball game wouldn't have been much of a ball game. We could not score in the red zone because we just got into a position where things weren't the way they should be when that ball snapped. And again, the quarterback has to make a lot more decisions than just throwing it to a receiver. He's got to make sure we're in the right protection and gets us in the right formation, gets a back flip to the other side depending on the situation, or brings a tight end across. It is so complex. It's just unreal that the kid did what he did in that game in a 3-quarter period. And will he do it again? I hope, but the odds aren't very good. Because now they'll play him a little bit different. Because now he can run, and that helps him. And he likes to run the ball. Will he run this week? I don't know. We don't have a lot of experience behind him, so we just got to make sure we understand what we're getting into and the position and what we want him to do in this game. So everything this week is built around Hayden Moore. It would be a different game plan if we built it around Gunner. I mean, your offense is built around what your quarterback can do, and so not that we're cutting back. It's just different type of plays, maybe a different protection, different routes, and of course you build it against the type of football team that you're going to see.
As a former defensive coordinator at Miami, and you were coming to Cincinnati and playing a kid making his first start that just threw for 557 yards, what would you do to try and stop him?
Well, we looked like geniuses down there back then anyway. I didn't do a whole lot. I applied 4 defensive linemen that could play the run, didn't need really any linebackers. And we had guys in the secondary. We played about 3 fronts and 2 coverages. The times have changed because you do a lot more on offense now. But I'll let them kind of figure out, Tim. Yeah, you got a rebuttal on that? I'm not going to help them out any.
You have chosen to limit this kid's availability to the media since Thursday night. What's your thinking on that, and is there any notion at all that you have lost a chance to get some pretty good national buzz out of that?
He met with the press afterwards. I always think it's more, quarterback's got more to say after a game than he does to have to say during the week of a game. I've always thought that. I think it's more accessible. He's got, talk about what happened. He really doesn't know what to expect coming up. I don't let them say a whole lot anyway about a game plan. I want them to talk about their teammates, but I think it's a lot more important, for what he just did, other than what he's getting ready to do from a quarterback perspective. That's what I've always thought. Now, a lot of quarterbacks can handle it. I just thought this week wouldn't be a good time. Last week he didn't have a lot of time to think about it. He had about 2 minutes. I'm in again. And so he went in and he shot in the hip and made some plays. This week he's got 7 days. And he's pretty much known that he was going to be the quarterback. So I don't think it'll make him any less effective. I just didn't want to take the chance of cluttering him up with all you guys asking him questions. In the future, if it continues this way, we'll let him do that. He needs to grow up because that's part of it for a quarterback. And I think it's good for quarterbacks to grow up, not just behind the center, but also behind a microphone. I've seen kids really grow up and handle situations, good and bad, from the quarterback position, and make them better players because of how they handle media. So it's just not a good week for him. Again, I didn't want him coming up there and saying, this and that, when if Gunner would have been cleared, he might have been quarterback too. So he didn't know how to handle it. So going into right now, we all know he will be the quarterback starting. We'll find out today from the doctors. If Gunner's not cleared today, obviously, he will not have taken any snaps. And we'll go with Luke Wright and our other young quarterback, who we're deciding if we'll take him out of red shirt or not to be the backup.
Mike Boone didn't play last week. What's his status for this week?
Yeah, he's out there. He's not practicing. He just, as I told people yesterday, we've got 3 good running backs. 2 of them are 100% healthy, and he's not. He's probably about 90-95%. He's not as good as those other 2 guys if he's not 100%. So I'm going to go with the 200% guys, and we'll continue to do that until he gets to 100%, and then he's got to show me in practice that he's better than those 2, because those 2 guys are doing a good job. Mike's a little bit more explosive in some things, but he's weaker in some things too, and less experience than those other 2 guys. So that's a position where we can, still compete. We only really play 2 in a game. We tried to play 3. It's hard to do that, but we know last year how we started losing running backs and getting into the meat of your season. I'm sure we're going to need Mike. And, if he's not back, not back playing this week, he'll be back next week. Because of the 14-day period we'll have between then and BYU.
What are your plans to slow down Brad Kaya this week?
Well, we just play defense. The thing that we've got to do is understand. We get ourselves out of position a lot. We've got so many guys that we've moved around. Most have played, but they hadn't, might not have been consistently at that position. The big thing is what's happened to us is we've gotten ourselves out of position and missed tackles, lunging. We have not had as good a game tackling this year as we had last year, starting about the 4th or 5th game. Remember last year we weren't not only bad turnovers, we were bad on defense to this point. We'd given up a record number of yards. Hopefully it's a deja vu we pick up, because we got a chance to have a good defense, better than what we had last year. But you can get lined up, you can run the ball and all that, but tackling a kid like this, you've got to get a lot of people around. And we haven't done that. It's very visual that there's times we've got one guy trying to make a tackle, when last year when we were playing good defense, we had 2 or 3 guys that wanted to tackle.
And going with a lot of the younger guys on defense, how much is that to get better this year, and how much is it long-term, just getting those guys started and getting them experience?
Yeah, our goal in the last couple of years of recruiting is just get better athletes, and we've got some guys, and I don't want to downgrade anybody, but we've got to upgrade our athletic ability at almost every position, and we've tried to do that every year. Now, when you got a guy like Malik Clements, we started him last week at free safety, and does he know what he's doing most of the time? Probably not. Is he scared to death? Yeah. Is he a good athlete, very good athlete, and going to get better every day? And he watches film, and he's very coachable, Same thing with Bryce Jenkins. We were thinking about a red shirt Bryce only 3 weeks ago. Now he's our starting middle linebacker. And he played better last week. He got out of position some. Last year, we got out of position in this game. You can't get out of position against team speed. I mean, first of all, you got to start from the right spot. And so a guy like Bryce, I think will help us because he's starting to really understand his position. Who else we started? We started Mike Tyson, really at our nickel back. And he's played some, but he's starting to learn to play that position. But he's a younger guy. And then, of course, we moved a bit of his pain out because you can't lose a guy like Adrian Whitty and expect to just be the same defense. He gives us a little bit more experience over there. Hadn't played much corner, but played pretty decent. Missed a couple of tackles, but that allows us to kind of sub with some of these younger guys other than say, okay, here it is. You're out there, and that doesn't quite work at that position at corner.
So a guy like Alex Thomas maybe join that group?
Yeah, Alex only played like 8 or 9 plays last week. He's got to play more. Lyndon Stevens, I think, played 40 plays. One of our better corners last year was Coleman. Of course, he's got to tackle better. He kind of lost his confidence. He didn't do that last year. He's one of our really more experienced guys on defense, and he hasn't played like he did last year. Had a lot more confidence. And when you have a couple of mistakes, you start losing your confidence. So we're not going to let them lose their confidence. We have full faith in them that we can get better on defense. We got to just play better as a group, and we got to get more people around the ball. Starting this week, somebody missed a tackle, somebody else got to make the tackle. And there's been times in the last 2 games somebody missed a tackle and it's a touchdown. And so, that's got to change. And that's about, coaches getting them lined up right and giving them a chance to get to the point of attack a little bit quicker.
You kind of set the bar high this offseason with your expectations for this team. Is there a sense now of urgency? You guys really, where you set the bar this offseason to lose any more games probably wouldn't, fit what you expected.
Oh, no, we want to win every game, and you go into winning every game, and the goal is to win the conference. We still we'll keep our goals no matter what happens, but we don't play better, we're not going to win many more games. We've got to play better for 4 quarters. We look like a good football team at times, but we got to be more consistent, coaching and playing. It's a total team deal. We've got to have higher energy. We had more energy last week in that game than we've had all year long. On the sideline, guys enjoying the game, patting each other on the back. There's got to be more of that. Now this is a home game, and it's very important, that our guys, understand a home game. Take advantage of it. Get your crowd going. That's our job on the sideline to build, momentum and to build excitement. When you're kind of a blah team and you make mistakes, just kind of like sticking a knife in a balloon. You take the air out of it. So we got to do our job as coaches and players.